Hello and welcome to Tonalist Painting with M. Francis McCarthy. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and I'm pre-recording this. This is going to be coming out next Sunday, which is like the 5th or something. I'm recording this on the 26th, and yeah, it'll be the 5th. And hopefully I won't be too rambly, because I've done like this will be the third video I've done today. I've done the video that is gotten posted already, and another one for the 25 days of tonalism, and then this one. I don't think I'm going to have enough steam to actually get the blog post done today, but I've got time during the week to get those done. And you know, I could skip a week. You know, I know you guys will stay with me, but why? You know, really. And I'm not so. Actually, today's been pretty casual. I didn't have that many household things scheduled to get done, and so I thought, well, I'll just keep it all flowing. And as I said in the last video, I'm going down to Auckland to see a guy named Tom Campbell speak, who's a consciousness researcher, and totally awesome, very influential to me. Now, I really like this little painting I'm showing you today, and the last couple ones I did that were my paintings were from 2014. This is from very, very recently, back in January, so I'm always really happy to share more excited to share my recent things. I like sharing the older things too. You know, it's illuminating to see what differences there are, which aren't that many, but you know, it's not. I've definitely gotten better since 2014, but you know, when you get to a certain level, I mean, the things that really keep you from getting even better are sort of hardwired into your psyche and your physiology, really. And not that it's not so much physiology with painting, because painting is pretty easy on the body, but the mind, you know, I am only so intelligent, I'm only so perceptive, and therefore I can only communicate so much intelligence and perception in my work, but this is the nature of life. You know, I'm always pushing the boundaries, and I do make progress, and you know, thank heaven for small progress, but it is progress nonetheless, and I'm very happy for it, and I work very hard for it. And that's one of the reasons, like I've said in the past, that I do the 25 days of tonalism. I see that as education, not just for me, but hopefully for you guys too. You get to see how I go after some of these masters' images, and it gives me ideas for things in my own work. It gives me, it's sometimes to get a certain look of a master's, I have to sort of go outside the box of how I normally might paint. I know I had one, for example, where I decided to rub the whole board down with a raw umber, and that said, I was reading a very interesting, there was a guy on my news feed today. I wonder if I can even find that here. This was a site, off a site called Muddy Colors, which is really awesome. It's muddycolors.blogspot.co.nz. Wow. Wow. So that's pretty cool. This guy was named Ron Lemon, L-E-M-E-N, and he was working in a very traditional manner of doing what's a dead color underpainting. And I don't do figurative painting. I sure did a lot of figurative drawing in my time, but these days I just focus on landscape for the most part, unless I'm doodling. But I might even put a link to, if I can remember, I'll put a link to this Muddy Colors blogspot. A lot of great information about painting from this guy, and heck, there's a lot of different ways to paint and a lot of ways to get inspired, and I always enjoy reading how other artists go about doing things. And then, of course, this guy is so good. I mean, really good. But I don't feel too bad. You know, I've had actually some really good figurative artists come around that admire my work, and I say, well, how come you don't do any landscape? And they say, oh, it's too hard. So I go, well, yeah, okay. It's all hard when you want to do it well. I think it's all, I mean, it should be fun, but it should be a challenge, and that's the case for me. Anyway, getting back to Out of the Vale here, I have the larger iteration of this motif, which we'll be doing next week, of course. It's a 10 by 14. It's in the window of my studio, so the public can check it out. And I like these. You're in the woods, and you're on a road or a path, and you're on your way out, or you're on your way through. You're out of the Vale in this case, you know, a little enclosed wooded area, and you're coming out of it into what we don't know. But I am happy with this way this little study turned out. It's a simple sort of motif, but I think it has a payoff, and we all, you know, I mean, I could get all philosophical with, you know, this. It's all about from darkness into light. You know, that sounds pretty good. I might have to write a paragraph to go up with the painting, so that you know, I could put it in a modern art museum or gallery. Just kidding. Speaking of museums, I am working. All of these works are, you know, kind of working. My recent works are working in mind with a show that I have coming up at the Fongaray Museum of Art, which is it's going to be pretty awesome. It's a great space, and I'm really excited about that. It'll be my first museum show, and you know, something could come along so that doesn't happen. I've had several meetings with the museum, and it's looking promising. We haven't narrowed down the actual date, but when I do, you know, I'll be talking about that. And you know, those of you that are big fans of my work can fly on out to New Zealand, and we do have a little airport here in Whangarei. You'd have to fly into Auckland and then take a connecting flight on a smaller plane up to Whangarei, but you know, it'd be worth it. Come on, right? You know, the thing about the museum thing is too is like they've had some their permanent collection's got some awesome paintings in it that are older, of course. And then I've been trying to I did encourage him in one of my meetings to invest in one of my pieces, and I may continue to try that tack, since you know, I think my work is worthy, and certainly some of the things that have gone in there by some artists that shall remain nameless were just this typical tongue-in-cheek, clever, ugly modern art with a bunch of meaning, supposedly. You know, this is the thing. You know, when you have to spell things out for people with the symbology that you're using, you've already lost, in my view. And well, there are the symbols that I use are just the symbols of landscape itself. We have trees, we have sky, we have paths, we have rivers. Heck, you could include lakes and all the other assorted features of the landscape or seascapes in that. They all speak to us at a deep metaphorical level, because the human beings up until modern times were always in the landscape. We were never really separate from it. So this is why I've chosen to be a landscape painter, because on the surface you see so much cliched landscape work done, and done in these modes that really don't have much thought. To me, it's all about emotion and getting something sort of spiritual across. But not spiritual, you know. I'm not going to paint a picture of Jesus walking on this path, for example. But I want to create that same feeling, you know, and that feeling is different for all of us, of you know, spiritual awareness. And painting is a great medium for conveying things that really can't be said. And I'm not for doing it in an overt way. I'm trying to get it across just by the oh, the modulation of the colors, the composition, the juxtaposition of light and shadow and things like that are what are creating the feeling and emotive quality of the work. And that might be something that I talk about in the blog. I do have to write a couple blogs, so most likely what I'll be doing is reviewing my little video and come up with some blog posts this week. But hopefully you've enjoyed this, and you're having a great Sunday, or at least Saturday for most of you, but Sunday here in New Zealand. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that, and follow my blog. You can get to my blog by going to landscapepainter.co.nz. There's also a bunch of my paintings there and a lot of other neat things about me if you dig around. So we'll see you next week. Meanwhile, take good care and stay out of trouble.